Every once in a while, I'll just check.
Yeah, I got the plus, dude. I like, especially when I wear like jeans like this. I'm like,
dude, that's massive.
Shoving it in there.
So this is episode 66.
Yeah.
Correct?
And I feel like the case doesn't help you either.
It doesn't.
Like,
It's actually missing like a piece on the front that fell off, and I kind of just left it, so it's just like barely hanging on there. Makes it even bigger.
And then when we talk, you'll probably have it like this close to it. So.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to BC Procast episode 66. We are here another day, another dollar, another ain't Cash Baby's card.
It is card.
I told Caeden about that too. He laughs now every time.
Cash Baby's card.
It's not Cash Baby's card. We are here with a great friend of mine and my coworker. Caeden had his coworker on before. I have my coworker on before. This is, some would say, Mr. Innes, but other people call him Barrett.
Yes, I am the GOAT. Yes. It's an honor to be here. Really, I've seen lots of podcasts, and I'm happy to finally be a part of it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So
professional.
I know.
He was not talking like this. Was talking like that.
No. So anyway, so what do you do right now? What's your profession?
So like you said, I am Braedon's coworker. So I am a high school health and PE teacher, and I also coach football. That's about it.
Yes. In fact, football is very important to you. There's a lot of times where I leave work and you stay another 7 hours.
Yeah, it's a big part of my life. You know, always played it growing up. But like I said, I coach and we do like 2-hour workouts every day after school. So end up just kind of hanging out, sitting around with the guys, helping with workouts.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Actually, one of my coworkers are having this debate right now. I'm in the debate as well.
Okay.
Is it okay if you work out and then you run? Does that mess up anything?
I'd say no.
Okay.
I mean, some people consider the run as their workout. like Mr. J here, who just casually runs 9 miles nowadays.
That's true.
But no.
So you're not
say-
like losing any gains. You're.
I wouldn't say so.
Yes.
And that's are
that's
though.
a health teacher.
Sorry.
To an extent.
There's studies behind it, but
Yeah.
if you're taking it, I think the way you asked it kind of like led him astray. Like, oh, running and working out, that's not bad. You don't lose gains, But
it is possible. Like
Yeah.
as far as like if you're just trying to put on muscle mass, you
Yeah.
can lose some of that.
yeah.
So
They actually say whatever you're trying to like do better at, you need to prioritize, and it's better to have farther apart. So it's better to actually have one exercise in the morning and one exercise at night. But if you're like, a lot of people warm up with like a run
yeah, because
and
that's
then
kind of
go
where I
work
was
out,
going
which
with
I
it.
think
Like,
that's what you were thinking.
Sorry, Alex.
It's good to
You
be
might got that
mobile.
one.
It's good to run.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, can I talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, no, he knows.
Yeah,
what
I'm like, sure, go for it.
That's what I'm talking about. So, dude, we're FIAD and health teachers, bro. We like tease him because he doesn't like do any exercise.
That's not true at all. All right, I lift weights. I don't run. All right, so Braedon and our other coworker, pretty much run marathons in their free time, and that's something that I choose not to do. Probably would be good for it, but saying that I don't work out is a little crazy.
A kid came up to us the other day and he was like, all right, because they keep on asking us to play basketball because our classes are always fun. And so like, you guys want to play? We're like, nah, we're like taking a break today. Like, all right, who's a better shooter? Like, if you guys play basketball, who's a better shooter? I'm like, Mr. Ennis. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, what about 1v1? That's where I get him. And he goes, I'll tire out before you keep going.
6-0, and then
He's
it's
like,
straight
that's why
turnovers.
I get it. Yeah, no, it's pretty funny. That's like a little thing. He does actually work out. He works out during his prep sometimes, and then also after school with all the football
now
guys.
it's just so much harder without having. First semester I had 7th period prep, which is like the last class, so I wouldn't have a class at the end of the day. So instead of like getting stuff done like I should, like I would go work out for my prep. But now, second semester, my prep's in like the middle of the day. So I don't want to like go do a full workout, get all sweaty, and then go back to class. Yeah. So between like that and having like workouts after school, like the only time to work out is if I go in the morning.
Yeah. And then there's so sorry. I really enjoy working with Barrett. So our prep, we get a lot of things done. In fact, he actually gets a lot of things done during class and stuff like that. So prep can be used as a time to like catch up on work, grade things, exercise, like just do things. But sometimes we are caught up with everything. So sometimes we like some people like to like doze off. Like our coworker,
Like
every
doze
prep,
off.
she takes like a nap.
Like every prep. Like she goes in there. She has like a little bean bag. Doesn't she?
Yeah. Like or no, like that, like a circle chair.
Yeah, it's
thing.
like a comfy chair.
Yeah.
So most teachers, math teachers going in there, grade their homework, stuff like that. Some people go in and take a nap. And
so there's one time where he had the 7-hour prep. I'd come in because I had a 7-hour class. Come down in and he's like laying in there. He's like, bro, you're not gonna believe what happened. You remember the story I'm about to say?
I think so.
Do you want to tell it where the door was open and you're like?
So again, prep. Taking a little nap, long day, just a quick nap. Usually. So where our coworker, where her office is, nobody uses that like those offices. So she could take a 8-hour nap all day. Nobody would.
We're in the locker room. But ours is connected.
Our office is connected to the locker room, and there's a couple other coaches that have their offices in there that come in and out sometimes. The locker room's next door. So anyways, one day I sit down, I get whatever I need to do done, and then kick my feet up a little bit, right? Take my little nap. All of a sudden, I wake up like 20 minutes later, probably max 20 minutes. I wake up, and all the doors to my office are open. And I'm sitting there. I like wake up. I'm like, who was in here? So you're telling me like somebody walked in through our office, saw me sleeping, and just kept walking, proceeded to leave the doors open too. Bro, so I was very confused. Didn't know what was going on.
He told me that he like passed out like to the point where his mouth was like open.
I was probably like head
he
back,
woke up like droozy. Like what's the word? Like out of it. He's like, what's going on?
All the doors.
Someone walked through and looked over and was like,
saw me sleeping on the clock.
Bro, I'm crying. Oh my god.
Were all your interactions after that, you were like trying to figure out who it was?
Yeah, like just coming up to me like, hey, like you have a good day? And I'm like, yeah, I did. Why do you ask?
It was probably honestly the wrestling coach. Do you want to tell him about the wrestling coach and like his claim to fame story?
Oh, but when somebody like broke in? Okay, so our wrestling coach for our school, he actually doesn't work at our school. He's like an art teacher in the district. So he comes into our school at like right at the end of the day every day.
Sometimes really early in the morning too.
Yeah, he's kind of just in and out, but he works at another school. So he comes in and out, whatever. He's been coaching wrestling at our school for probably like 20 years or so. Yeah. Older guy, very short, probably like 5'4".
Yeah, 5'4", 5'3". I would say
wrestling's good for shorter guys.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I don't think he's married or anything. I don't know his like personal life, but apparently, like you can look this up online. Somebody broke into his house one time, like while he was sleeping, like broke in through a window and was pretty much like robbing him while he was sleeping. And he heard it, and he goes downstairs and he sees this guy like sneaking out of his window, right? And he takes the drapes. I believe it was the drapes. It was some type of long rope type thing, and he like wrestled this burglar to the ground and hogtied him, like hands and feet like tied up.
Way.
And he hogtied this guy and like waited for the cops to come. And it was like all over the news how this guy like, because I guess the guy like they found a gun on him or something, and it was like this whole thing how he like hogtied this
he's a small
suspect.
Guy.
And like I'm picturing like a guy that has the audacity to break into someone's house. Might be a bigger guy, I don't know, but like it's not the type of coach you'd think to be able to do something like that. Whoa. I remember when I first got to the school and the kids told me about it, and it was like the craziest thing. I pictured him differently every time, so I thought of him as just like this, young or like shorter art teacher looking guy, but now he's the wrestling coach who's hog tying burglars.
Oh, the story is crazy. But yeah, like I think it was probably him. Hopefully it was him because he's super chill.
That walked in, yeah.
It wasn't like anyone else. But yeah, we have a lot of crazy, funny stories that we have. Like one of them, I was one time in class. We were in our Phi Ed class in the gym, And we have like students that don't want to do anything. They tend to sit down, and like we go tell them to get up, like they're losing points and their grade goes down. And one time I was with Barrett, and by the way, to him, he has two names to me. Because at school, I call him
we're so used to like
so
calling
it's
each other
weird
by
to
our
kind of
last
call
names.
him like the other, like Barrett, every once in a while. So he grabs the ball and he rolls the ball across. By the way, our gym, I like timed you once without him knowing, from one side to the other of the gym. It's like a minute and like 20 seconds to walk.
It's like
maybe a minute.
It's
30.
really
It's
wide.
long. Wow.
Like it's like a basketball court with like, I'd say probably just 3 basketball courts.
Essentially.
But like one in the middle, like going long ways, and then 2 on the sides that are like
Going the other way.
going.
But
opposite.
like it's a long gym, and like it has a track in it. It's not a 400-meter track, but it's a track. Anyways, it's a long gym. So like from across the gym, he takes his basketball and like lightly rolls the ball across the gym, and it hits.
I feel like you need more like backstory to it. Like
Yeah, go
like
for
our,
it.
So like our students, like they need like obviously our goal is to get them to be active and participate, and we have a lot of lazy kids in high school that just like to go sit down and have a seat somewhere. So like you said, well, you want to tell the rest of it?
No, you
Okay.
you got it.
So there'll be kids like just sitting around or whatever, and we'll have like our free choice time, which to them is just free time, but we bring out a couple different things, and they have the choice to like be active in any of them. So if we see a kid that's like sitting like on the other side of the gym, and I don't want to go walk over there and tell him to get up, I'll take a basketball from the other side of the gym, and I'll do some bowling and perfectly roll it right, hit not too hard, right? Just hit him right in the foot or the knee. So when he's sitting there on his phone, then they look up and they look around and they see me, and I'm like, let's get up, like start getting it going. Works every time.
So he showed me this. I'm like, no way. So I grab a basketball. You want to tell him what I did?
So yeah, he sees that it's working. I tell him about it. He's like, all right, I might try it. First person he gets, he's probably like 20 feet away from this kid, maybe a little farther. Like completely whips it at this kid. It's got some bounce to it. It's coming up to him. I'm like, dude, you're gonna hit this kid in the face. Like, I don't know what happened.
It just like hit him, and I'm like,
it ended up not
you're
being
like, bro,
super bad.
Stop chucking at it, people, because I'd miss, so I'd like throw like 3 more at them, and like
so this
run
kid's
away.
just sitting in the corner, not wanting to play, probably already in a bad mood. He's tired, and now he's got like 5 basketballs just flying at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Is this my teacher that's throwing this equipment at me?"
There's one I rolled, and like the kid, like they post up, they're sitting on the ground, so his like legs are wide open, his phone's like this, and out of nowhere it just came, he went, oh. He's looking around. I'm like, and I like looked away.
It's acting like it wasn't him. Like,
But
who's
no,
throwing
we
these?
do little fun things with students. Like one thing that we would do is that when we had this table that we got rid of because everyone would sit on it, and like I'm like, hey, watch this, and I'm like, what do you think? And I would say it out loud, looking at Barrett, and they would walk by and go, what? I'm like, huh? And they're like, what? I'm like, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Mr. Ennis.
We just kind of mess with them a lot, make them think they're going crazy.
Yeah. But they like us. But we kind of jumped ahead, but we'll get to places. But football. So I wanted to talk about you spend a lot of time coaching football and being it, and also like I think a goal for you. I mean, I'm not trying to talk for you, but like a goal for you is to kind of like be in a high position amongst a football team, if it's at high school or other places or higher level. Like, I guess, do you want to kind of talk about, like, your life with football and sports and, like, baseball and... Oh, also, real quick. Okay. So, I'm so sorry. Started thinking on that.
Yeah.
But me and Barrett, we have, like... So, we have this cart that stands out, like, in, like... Or the open area. So, all the equipment's in the cart. We bring out the cart. Then
It's like
the
our
students
free
can come.
time card. It's got
Yeah,
a
they
bunch
can
of different
choose the
equipment
choice
in
stuff.
there.
So we have like our
volleyballs.
own personal things where like during the choice time, which is not as much time as we're making it sound like.
We get things
We
done.
did.
We do what needs to get done.
So we like challenge each other to different things, like different like challenges. And like one thing we do is try like as far as possible away, like take a football and throw it and land it in the cart. Or do like trick
fun.
shots with like basketballs and stuff like that. Which is kind of like a fun thing to think about because like we do it for like ourselves. Like, all right, we're across the gym. Can we kick the soccer ball all the way into like
Because
the
on
back
those
thing?
days, other than that, we're just kind of It's more of like monitoring, making sure everybody's staying active on those days because they have their own choice to do whatever they want as long as they're active.
Yeah.
So
but we have actual units like that we go through.
I believe you guys.
it's like
I'm just more
you guys
afraid.
do your job. I trust you.
I'm just more afraid
This is
of
like Fridays. Like on Fridays, we bring a big TV out with a timer, and they have to like walk the track for 15 minutes, and then they get their choice time the rest of the class.
And I'm just saying, if administrative staff is watching this right now,
never know.
I'm joking. They should not be. Please get off. Anyway,
We're in the volleyball unit.
we're a second week. But anyway, we had these challenges, and recently, I've been kind of outshining my coworker here.
With not a lot of proof though.
No, I send him a video right after I do it.
The video he sent me yesterday while I was upstairs teaching health was, I just threw this ball. This is his phone. I just threw this ball from here and I made it over there. Easily could have faked
Into
that.
the car.
Easily could have faked it.
But the thing is, I'm not the kind of guy that like plays it off. I'm like, what?
When he does
So I
make
took
it,
the
he's
football.
got to make sure all the kids
Oh, yeah.
in the area, yo, did you guys see that?
I did. I grabbed the football and I'm like, all right, launch it, no, like into the cart, no bouncing around or anything, just poof. And I'm like, and I saw one kid, he was like, you do that? I'm like, and he's like, and no one else saw it, but I was just like, wow. And so I took a video, I sent it to him, and I'm like, I just made it from here into there. Dude, another one of our another teacher walked in that I'm close with. I'm like, hey, guess what? She goes, what? I'm like, I just sent a video to Innes. I made a football from here to there. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, he slapped
In her
it.
head, she's like, cool.
But were you there for the basketball hook shot?
No, you told me about that one, though.
That one was insane.
I believe that, because you wouldn't have just made something like that.
No. I was outside the 3-point line. Kids walking by. He loves LeBron James. I go, hey, LeBron James. Grab the football, the basketball, and hook over my head. Nothing but net.
We always talk about
Drained
hook shots
that.
are one of the hardest like trick shots to make.
Bro, drained it. Then later that day, I have a basketball. I'm outside the out of bounds from the side of the 3-point line. Underhand. A kid is like, can you pass me that ball back? I go, watch this. Grab the ball. Underhanded it. Nothing but net. Actually, that one kind of hit the rim. It still went in, but it wasn't nothing but net.
It's been a while since I've had a cool one like that.
Yeah. But we challenge each other. Anyway, back to what I was saying earlier. Football. So football has hold a lot of importance to you, along with baseball. Do you kind of want to talk about your athletic career and like where it's led you to now?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been into athletics and sports in general. That's kind of, I mean, it's where PE teachers and health teachers, right? So I've always had a, something for being into fitness and sports and stuff like that. So growing up, I played tons of different sports, but my main two sports my whole life were always football and baseball. And I always considered, growing up, I always thought baseball was my main sport. 'Cause when I was younger, I always thought, I'm never going to be big enough to, play football anywhere past high school. But as I went through school, whatever, my kind of senior year is really when I actually stopped playing football my junior year of high school. I don't know if I've told you this.
You mean baseball?
No, there was my junior year of high school. I didn't play football because we had a coach that I didn't really like a whole lot. Not like anything like one-on-one that I didn't like. I just didn't like the type of coach he was. So I decided to stop playing football in my junior year and focus on baseball. And then throughout that year, my junior year of baseball, I just kind of felt like I wasn't having as much fun playing sports as I always did. So my senior year, I switched, made a whole 360, and my goal was always that I wanted to play in college. And I made a complete 360, and I was already talking with some schools for baseball going into my senior year. But football being first semester, I was like, I'm going to play my senior year, see how it goes. And we got a brand new coach my senior year of high school. So I ended up doing really good. Our team wasn't great in high school, but I guess it kind of made me look even better most of the time. So I had a really good senior year. I had like 6 interceptions, led our team in tackles. I played safety and like slot receiver in high school.
Oh, wow.
And then ended up getting like 9 offers out of high school, so I decided to go to Carthage College for football.
He hates because I keep on mispronouncing it.
What do you say?
Accident. I say Carthage.
It's Carthage.
Yeah,
Carthage
he
College.
always
There's no like
corrects me.
other R. but but yeah. So I ended up going to Carthage. Like I said, I looked at a couple different schools, but Carthage I really liked it. It's right on Lake Michigan. It was only like an hour from home. So I went there and I got moved to corner, just because I was not big enough to play many other things in college football. But DB was kind of always like my background, what I was good at. So I played 2 years there, and then COVID hit. So I decided to stop playing football. I realized that it's not like I was going to the NFL. So I stopped playing football after going into my junior year. It's kind of when COVID hit, where they sent us home. And we didn't, because I lived on campus for everything. So we came back and they said, all right, we're still going to practice and do workouts year round, but we're not going to have any games this year. And for me, I was there's really just not much point to that.
Right.
So plus I was starting my student teaching soon. So I decided to step away from football, and which I regret and don't regret at the same time, because I miss getting those last 2 years to play. But I decided to join a fraternity my junior year. So I was able to kind of play football for 2 years and be in a frat for my last 2 years of college, which is pretty cool. And then I got lucky getting a job at a high school close to the college, and applied for a coaching spot and got that. So that's been fun. I was just an assistant freshman coach, and then I was the head freshman coach. And then this past year, which was my third year, I was the varsity running backs coach. So kind of nice to kind of get moved up so I don't have to be with freshmen anymore. Not a bad thing, but just a lot more basic type stuff, And then this upcoming year, we just got a brand new head coach, and he pretty much cleared out the entire staff. I'm the only varsity coach that's returning. So it kind of stinks, but also kind of cool that he still wanted me around.
Yeah, wow.
So I'm be the corners coach this year. So kind of only getting to work with my position. So it's I know I'm pretty knowledgeable in all things football, but corners and DBs, that's kind of my background and what I know the best. Yeah. So I'm excited to work with them this year.
So why football out of all the sports? What really drew you to it? Because there's injuries, there's stuff that goes on. There's a lot of people football, that could...
Yeah. I don't know. It was kind of just growing up, there wasn't ever flag football back in the day. And I started playing tackle football when and my birthday's really late, so all my friends were 5. I was actually still 4 years old going to play tackle football. I was probably, I don't know how tall, but 45 pounds, probably not even going on the field, just kind of being at practice and stuff. But, and then a lot of my friends started to come out, and it's just kind of where I made most of my childhood friendships with the guys that I'm still friends with today. I feel it made me the person I am today. Just with what you have to battle, being a small kid in football, having to battle and push through a lot of those things. So, and it's just kind of that connection I have with my friends. For the Super Bowl, I got a bunch of my friends coming over tonight and tomorrow, just because we're big football guys, just excited to watch it,
Yeah, and in fact, with that, being in the school and also being a coach, that it's a lot of schools want coaches within the school. I'm saying school a lot, but okay. it leaves a different level of impact and connection that a coach can build with the students. And we were kind of addressing this earlier, but we laugh a lot and we make a lot of jokes. We like to tease kids, but Barrett in his role, he's actually great at connecting with it. We kind of made a joke that he's one of the, especially when I first came, out of us, 3 coworkers, he was the one that the kids disliked the most, because I was just coming in, I was new. So I was I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just figuring things out. Our other coworker likes to have good connections with the students. And then he was all right, I'm dropping the hammer. This is how things work. But the thing from that, from the coaching and from structure and discipline and boundaries, all it does is it builds a stronger connection with some students. Yeah. So even though sometimes he's the bad guy or whatever, but he constantly has I didn't even tell you this. At the end of the week, I had a student come in and said, "Where's Innes?" And I'm oh, he's in the health class. And he goes, I'm you good? You need anything? He's I was just coming to mess with him. But the thing is, he's built connections with some students and that are also athletes that really respect and when he says something about him that's like uplifting, like they really take that with like pride, and like they like kind of want to be like, hey, Mr. What do you think? And like they're all super tough. They all do this and that. But like we know when we do parent teacher conferences and stuff, like we hear that like he hears because he's been here a little longer. Is like, hey, you know, my student, my kid often like talks about Mr. Innes or something like that, and like how he has that. So I was gonna say, taking all that and kind of going into teaching, like what are some thoughts on like building those connections and like the importance of like teaching you and even how you got into this career?
Yeah, so I mean, how I got into the career, like what I talked about, right? I've always had a passion for fitness and athletics.
You almost didn't be a teacher though, right?
Technically, I was a marketing major my freshman year of college, but that was because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I knew business people make a lot of money, so I wanted to go into like sports marketing again, something sports.
So you became a teacher.
Yeah. So and as I got older, I started to realize like I just have a very easy way or good way of making like solid connections with students, and my mom's a teacher too, so she kind of pushed me towards that way. But I feel like I could have taught many different places, but I really wanted to find a spot that I could teach where I can coach. Because I feel like growing up for me in high school, all the best connections I had were like teachers that were also my coaches on the field. So I feel like a lot of those guys, you know, at school, I can be a lot more, or I guess at football, I can be a lot more strict and, you know, tough with them. Whereas like when we're at school, they can kind of see where we can come together, and they see where I'm coming from a school standpoint.
How do you balance that line? Like, how do you make sure that you're not like, because I feel like as a teacher, you could easily be that one teacher that everyone despises.
Yeah.
They give us Fs, all that stuff. But how do you balance that line of where you still get them to listen, but also build this connection where they like you?
Yeah, and it's definitely tough, and something that like, I mean, even Braedon can tell you, like just the longer you teach, kind of the better you get at it. But I feel like I have such close connections with my players that are also my students that like I'll even use them as like an example during class or something. I know that they'll like they might, you know, mess around after school at practice and something like that, but I know like if they're with me, I can trust them to be under control in class and even help out other students.
Yeah.
Because you know, they might, you know, say, you know, Coach Innes is, you know, mean, whatever, but then they'll come in and I know they'll have my back and they'll help me out.
Wow, that's amazing.
I feel like we've been saying like I'm like a mean teacher. Like
No.
I'm not mean. Like,
He definitely is not.
It's like we have so many kids in the gym sometimes. Like the one class I have with our other coworker, I have 54 students and she's got 52. And so there's like 110 kids, 100 whatever kids in the gym, and it's hard to control all of them, especially when I'm the only like real adult figure sometimes. In there. So
yeah, he's not a bad teacher. It's a lot of his like tongue in cheek, like making fun of it. But I
mess with the kids a lot too, and they respect it.
But what was my motto at the beginning of the semester? Like, what was my goal?
Oh, so, well, I guess at the beginning of this semester, right?
Beginning of this semester, because at the last semester, I'm like, okay.
So his big thing this upcoming semester with his new classes is he didn't want to be the teacher that kids liked. Yeah. Or he didn't want kids to come to the class and enjoy the class too much. Because there's certain, like, it's the hardest part about being a teacher is finding, like, that middle ground between, like, all right, like, I'm going to be cool with you and I want to, like, help you with life things and, like, be chill. We could talk about other things not school related. But then also, like, where you know that they're going to sit in their chair and do their work when we're in health class and stuff like that. So some classes, when you have a lot of, like for me, it's always a lot of athletes because they all know me and they think they can get away with more with different things. So it can be kind of hard to really get them in track sometimes, especially when they're all together. Yeah. So pretty much just saying like he wanted them to like, all right, they're coming into Mr. J's class. We got to lock in and do our work.
Yeah, they're going to not like me. That was my goal. But actually the point to even combat against you being like the mean teacher, he's actually too nice sometimes, dude. I tell him, I'm like, leave it alone. Let it be.
They're him and our other PE teacher, they're both very middle grounds.
Yeah, no, there's some times where literally like
I feel like I'm either up or very
do
whatever or do nothing.
Yeah, like we're in the morning, So when I first like met him, my goal was like when I first worked there, I'm like, we're gonna become great friends. And so like every day, good morning. I'm right at
I'm
like
not a
7
morning
a.m.,
person.
which I found out later. So I'd be like, good morning, and we would constantly talk about things. I would constantly ask questions. I'd constantly talk about my life to try to open him up, because this is a person that I randomly met that I'm now going to work with, and I met him within the middle of the year. It wasn't even at the start of the year or at the end of the year, like randomly.
It was actually kind of
One
crazy
day I was
how like
working with
close
him.
we got like so quick
Yeah.
too.
One day I worked with him. One day I wasn't a thing that you knew of ever.
Yeah.
The next day I worked with you every single day. Like, so I made it a goal. And over time, like, we can even talk about like our daily like things out. Now every morning now I'm like, what's up? Good morning. Because I'm a morning person, so I let him lead. And sometimes he asks me questions. Other times I'm just
I feel like a big part of that is I live 5 minutes away from the school, and he lives an hour. So by the time he gets to school, he's already been up for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, I've been up for maybe 20 minutes. So I get there, he's like, "Good morning." I'm like, "What's up?"
There was one morning I actually scared him. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't tell you this. So you have to walk through the locker room to get into our office. And in the locker room, there's like lockers, so you can hide behind them, like, because there's alleys. So I hid underneath, past one. He's walking, and I go, "Happy Friday!" Because I go Happy Friday instead of Friday. And he goes, "Oh," I'm like, "Why you scared of Fridays, huh?" And like stuff like
Like
that.
half awake, walking into the office. Like,
So, but I didn't tell you this. It was I think it was what was it? It was a PD day. And I actually
rolling
it was
in
like
real late.
shortly. It was no, it wasn't a PD day. It was a different day. But anyways, I was there before you. And this was recently after I scared you. So this is kind of embarrassing. I took one of my shoes, and I put it where I hid last time and had it peek out a little bit.
Okay, now that you're saying this, I feel like I remember seeing.
You saw
your
that?
shoe. Didn't we not talk about this? I feel like I
I
mentioned
thought I didn't
something.
bring it up
I don't
'cause I
know
didn't wanna-
because I remember seeing one of your shoes.
I put like a shoe like
and
right
I came
at
in and you were like sitting in your desk, and then you
Yes.
like got up and like went and grabbed
do
your shoe,
remember that.
and I'm like half awake. I'm like, the heck is this guy
Yeah,
doing?
I didn't bring it up, but I was trying to like mess with you to scare you.
I don't
Again.
think I realized like
Like
the
I wanted you
connection.
to be like, but it
Oh.
I think in my head I'm like, why is this shoe there?
Yeah.
Like not thinking anything of it.
yeah, but no, but I say that because he's actually that was like a side thing, but he's actually sometimes too nice, because at the end of the school day, like, he really is very attentive to a lot of students' needs, like for locker room and stuff. Like they like to bang on like the locker room door to get into the locker room.
Because the bell rings at the end of the day, he goes home. He's got to do a lot of things. And no, it's not saying it's like any better, but like I have to stay for like our workouts, whatever. And all the kids always expect me to be the one to like open
Because
the
you
locker room.
always open the door. So
Because
anyway,
if they're not, they just sit there
They
and pound on the
slam,
door,
slam.
which is right next to our office. And they're
Sometimes.
like almost ripping off the door handle.
they actually are. It is actually insane. Barrett sometimes goes,
I'll like hit the wall so they'll hear me.
and then they hit the balls back. Then they know we're in here. Anyways, I'm like, dude, don't do it. Like, sometimes he leaves with me because he doesn't have to stay after. I'm like, don't do it. He's like, oh, I gotta go do it. And so he gets up and he's like, bro, if they do it one more time, I'm not opening up the door. A couple minutes go by, he's like, oh man. He gets up, opens the door for them. And there was one time he wasn't there because he took a day off. And they were like slamming on the door. It was just me. And they were slamming for like 10 minutes.
He's like,
and
I'm
what did
not
I do?
opening.
Nothing. I just walked out and went to my car.
Yeah, see, I'm too nice sometimes.
What was your guys' first like impressions of each other?
That's a great question for you.
Before Braedon got there, we had like because there's 3 of us like in our department, and so we only had 2 of us. We had like a long-term sub because they weren't able to find somebody at the beginning of the year. So we just had like a random sub that was with us for a long time, and then all of a sudden, my administration, the principal, is telling me that they hired someone. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like they said he's gonna come in and like check it out or something one day. And that was like when I think I showed you around like a little bit of the weight room and stuff, because that was when the gym was under construction. And he thought that he was just gonna be like come to look and like check around, like kind of see what the school is about. Little did he know, like that was his first day, and like they were gonna make him teach every class that day, and like he had no idea.
I thought I was just shadowing that day, but
Yeah.
I literally you guys sent me up to health class by myself to teach.
There was like, because there's nothing like, because most of us were in the gym, but the gym was under construction. So all our PE classes were in the weight room. But every once in a while, one of us would have to go up to health because we usually teach like 2 or 3 health classes each. So this is his first day, like never been here. And I'm like, all right, you got to go up to health now. It's in room 211. Good luck. Like
209.
209 when we started.
Yeah.
But so
Dude, I went up there and nothing happened. And that, you remember I had one class, which it's like funny because there's always like tough classes, but then you have a new tough class.
Yeah.
So that first class was actually kind of tough because we have like athletes and they're like sophomores, which honestly, I have a take. I think sophomores might be like the most difficult because freshmen, they're like scared of you. You say something, they listen.
yeah.
At the end of
But they
freshman
also
year,
have like usually like pretty bad behavior.
They do,
but
but
if you
listen.
put them in check, like it's their
Yeah.
first time in high school, they're a little scared.
Yeah.
But they take our health class as sophomores. Because they think like freshmen are a little too immature for some of the things. They're not ready for it. Whatever, they take it as sophomores. So they're
Yeah.
a little bit more mature, but not really. You know,
Yeah.
they're still 15, 16 years old. But they know that they can get away with more as they get older.
So the sophomores, they're still young. They're not freshmen, but like they still have like kind of that immature like way they kind of handle things. So anyway, I had one of the health classes. I heard they were saying like, yeah, a lot of subs have problem with this specific health class, and like that was the health class where like the infamous of I'm all about respect, and then the girl was like yelling, and I found out later she had like Tourette's. That was that classroom, along with like all those like big popular name athletes, and I'm like having to like.
Didn't you like tell her to
them.
stop the first time?
Yeah, well, no. So I was standing in front of a classroom. I heard this was a tough class. You had all the athletes that smoke and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
They are all big, popular, got all the girls in the back corner. And, like, you know, I'm a random, you know, small white guy coming here to teach. And so I'm like, hey, like listen up, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to be here. Like, I'm all about respect and, like, and that's what I expect from you guys. And out of nowhere, I hear like a, ah! And I'm like, as I was saying, like, this
in the middle of
be,
like notes, like you're trying to talk, give a presentation.
well, I'm talking about the fact of being respectful. And I'm like, yeah, like, it's all about respect because, like, I'm expecting this and this. Like, I'm new and, And I'm like, see, that's an example of not showing respect. And then all the guys in the back, they go, it's her. Because I kind of look back, because before I looked back and I'm like, because it happened 4 times. The 3rd time I was like, I'm serious, guys. Like, this they can't happen. And then I'm like, all right, you can't do this. And then I look back and behind like a row of like 2 guys, there's like this small girl. And I'm like, she has Tourette's. And I'm like, all right, guys, we're just
Probably
continuing on
felt so
notes.
bad,
And then
yeah.
I went and sat down at the desk. I'm like, oh my goodness, bro. Like, it was embarrassing. But yeah, that was like not my first day, but one of my first days. Maybe it was the first day. Maybe it was one of the
Might have
first.
been.
But first impressions. So you kind of saw me that first day, but what else?
Yeah, I don't
was
know.
it?
I mean, I was just excited that you were young and athletic. Because I know, because like when you,
It's not cash, baby. It's called.
yeah, when you get a new like PE teacher, like in my mind, I'm thinking like, you know, a 40-year-old guy who's just been around for a while, might be kind of harder to work with, but knows what he's doing. But it was kind of cool that we were able to get Braedon, you know, being very similar to all of us, all young, like sports, fitness, stuff like that. So it kind of just worked out, really.
Yeah,
But-
and also like when you get phy ed teachers, they're either like young, freshly out of high school, or not out of high school, out of college. But they're like pretty rare
No
to have
requirements.
multiple ones at the same spot. But they're usually old because, you know, we have a profession that like a lot of people like enjoy. And usually when you get into a good school, you're there until you like retire or like if something has to happen. So getting different jobs, like that's like for us to be working at the same spot, like at the start of our careers, like
it's
is
pretty
insane.
rare, yeah.
That's not common. So like to know like, oh, this is not like just another old man. Also, there are some phy ed teachers that are not athletic.
Yeah, we always talk about it. It's like biggest hypocrites like growing up, like when you had that PE teacher that's just completely out of shape and go run a mile.
Yeah.
Like you, buddy. Like, come on.
There's even some young people that they're like, yeah, I'm coming here. They're like, they're subs because we get subs, and subs are people that are also like on the same trajectory. We're just ahead of them. Yeah. Like we did our time as that. But literally like they come in and like we have people that sub for gym and they're like trying to be PE teachers and like they can't throw a ball or like they're just like weird with how
like
they
try to
move and
like
stuff.
you know be involved with the kids, and they'll go play the sports, and they can't even do them themselves. And you know our job is like we're supposed to give them the skills and the tools that they need so they can be physically fit for the rest of their life. And I'm like, buddy, if you can't make a layup, you're not gonna be able to teach them much.
Yeah.
Not saying like that's the only thing that we talk about in the class, but like
And
you
then
should
also,
be able to do some things.
You also can kind of tell when someone's like an elementary FIAD teacher or a high school FIAD teacher. We talked about this recently, just about how they act or how they talk and all that stuff. But no, it's super enjoyable. And I guess my first impression of you,
what were your thoughts?
I was like, dude, what's up with this
You're like
facial hair,
you're
bro?
Like, this guy's
Nah,
in charge.
he actually shaved it recently.
It looks nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, he used to be. Yeah, he actually took care of all of it. Anyway, no, I came in.
I have a baby face. I think so. So I get nervous whenever I shave everything. I feel like I look like the students, and I don't like that. So it's like
You also walk
I like
around with a backpack.
Wait, you walk around with a backpack?
I gotta go from gym to health upstairs, and I got all my he just brings his laptop, and I bring my laptop, my clipboard, charger, maybe some snacks,
All in his backpack.
So I walk through the halls with a backpack, but I got my keys. I'll rattle my keys. I'll have my radio on, just so you know.
I just say, I have the laptop out and my keys visible and my radio out, so like other teachers that we have don't think I'm a kid.
Wait,
as
has
well.
that happened before?
Multiple
Yes. If you don't have that on,
It doesn't happen to me as much just because
Yeah.
I've been there for like 3 years now, but especially like the first year.
Yeah.
Like I had a couple teachers like, nope, you got to go this way. I'm like, I'm good. I'm a teacher. But
because we also our uniform, like our what is it
we don't
prior?
dress up like most
Like,
teachers.
just
Like, we
hoodie
get to
and
wear
sweatpants.
like fit clothes. Like, yeah.
Because the idea is that we also can be physically active, which is fun when we are able to participate with like some of the students. Like there's some classes that we get asked to jump in on, like basketball.
Like
games
we
and
love
different
hopping
things.
in with the kids, obviously just playing some games and
Yeah.
stuff. But sometimes our classes are so big. Like that
Yeah, I
one
can't.
I was saying, there's 100 kids in the gym. I can't go play basketball because I don't know what everybody else is doing.
Also, when we do that, when we jump in, it's always like when we have another teacher in there, or it's like a small class, or we know like everything's fine, or we're watching it as well. Like we have like one student that loves to do one-on-one football and like talks major trash all day, and then like he's the QB and I run out and I'm like defending and catching on him and like different things like that. But like while we're doing that, that's like during times where everything else is like taken care of and like
Do
good.
You guys ever get like super competitive with them? Where you have to be like, oh wait, that was kind of crazy.
I'd say not really us, but they do. They're very overly competitive. So there's a lot of times when they're like just playing a little 3-on-3 basketball game, and they start
fight
and they
breaks
like
out.
start like throwing punches at each other because this guy airballed. Like guys, we promise it's not that deep.
Yeah.
You will get over it in about 20 minutes when you go to math class.
Yeah, there's one just recently where like we were like having a conversation off on the side, and like out of nowhere I'm like talking about something, and Barry goes, "Hey!" Like he gives you had to talk about your hey, but then he runs over and he like breaks him up, and then we found out later that they both like threw like 2 quick punches like to each other's face or something like that. But it was very like that's the thing where like there's just 2 guys being guys, like you don't need to get anything involved, write a referral, you don't like have to do a whole thing. Like
Sometimes it just gets overly competitive, and they got something to say. Obviously, we talk to them about having good sportsmanship, whatever. Yeah. And obviously, we shouldn't be physically violent at school.
But they're like just little taps. But then there's times where it's like full on fights. But talk about your hey.
So kind of going off with like how our other coworker uses like a whistle and stuff, and like how our gym's really big. I've developed this very deep, loud hey. So like when something like that
echoes in your soul kind of deep.
It's not that loud, but it's like when the music's very low, like kids are kind of just doing whatever, and I'm over by the front door of our gym, like just on my laptop doing whatever, and I'll see like that kids kind of getting into it on the other side of the gym, and instead of sprinting over there and trying to get there before they start throwing hands, if I hit them with just like quick and loud hey, like everybody in the gym's like they look around like real quick, like oh my god, like what's happening. So it kind of slows.
Stop.
It literally like they'll like look around. They're like, all right, well now everybody's looking at us. We should probably stop. So it surprisingly works pretty often. But,
yeah. No, we have a lot of little tricks that we do, and I've actually learned a lot from him because he has been teaching longer than me.
That.
So a lot of my like setups and procedures and like how I handle different situations, a lot of it's like based off of like how he kind of does it, but I just make it better.
A little bit.
So he's the head of our department. And it's funny because we're like equals and like everything's distributed, but every once in a while, like when we have to deal with administrative staff or like deal with something that's bigger that I don't want to, I throw the
then it's
head
my
of
job
department
because I'm technically in charge.
But then there's times where he doesn't want to do something. He's like, "Hey, as head of department, I need you to do this." We make fun of it. It's pretty cool.
It's most of the duties that I have is we just do them as a group.
Yeah.
You know, it's our scheduling, like our budgeting, whatever we need to buy.
But he takes he gets all the attention from administrative because he is the head of the department. So
whenever there's something wrong, they always come to me about it.
Yeah. Or if there's plans for the gym in use or like ROTC reaches out and things like that. So he actually does do stuff for it, but it's fun to
set up. I have the National Guard coming in 2 weeks to talk to the class, and they're bringing what do they call it? The archery tag. So they bring it, and so I've had him come in a couple times. This is a different guy we have coming this time.
He's new.
But right? So we had Sterling, I think, if you remember the other guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he'd come and bring a bunch of games. He'd talk to the students about the benefits of joining the National Guard.
Which they almost got me. You remember that? I almost was like,
he's like talking to kids, and Braedon's in the back, and he's like, "That's not a bad idea." Some of the things like they have, like which any of the military, like a lot of people don't realize.
Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah,
dude. Like, I'm not trying to plug for the National Guard, but it's like you do once a month. They give you thousands of dollars.
Pretty much.
They take care of like loans and stuff, like because I already had my schooling and stuff, and then it's just like, you're then part of like the military and like you get a bunch of benefits from that, and then like it's just there's so many benefits, and the main one is like the compensation, like for money wise.
Yeah. But I feel like numbers for like just the military in general has like gone down just because like kids nowadays are just so lazy, and like the thought of them like having to like go out to this fort across the country and have to do all this work, like that's probably not appealing to them. So it's kind of cool. Like we have them come out, they talk to the kids. And then, like I said, they're bringing this archery tag, which is literally like archery, but at the end of the arrows, they have like these big like marshmallows. The kids have to wear a mask or whatever. But I set up like I'll put some baseball screens up like in the middle of the gym and make it like war zone.
It's like it looks like a paintball.
Yeah. So the kids. I mean, they go through like a demonstration how it works, but then they get to like, I don't know, shoot each other. I guess it sounds bad, but they have
Alice training. No, but he is a great teacher. Like I've learned a lot from him, and honestly, there's a lot of times where I wish like we could both be in the same health class because I love like hearing. So he's like really quick-witted and funny, and he's really good at engaging with the students. In fact, he like roasts me because I get all my grading done, like, and he doesn't, and he goes, "Bro, like, what do you do in class?" I'm like, "I get my grades done." Like, because
he tells his kids to do his work, and then he goes sits in a desk and puts in grades. Whereas I tell my kids to do their work,
and then
I
he
walk
starts
around
distracting them.
No, I don't distract them. They distract me. I distract them. Like I plan to do grades, and then like one kid will start talking to me, and then like I'll start telling a story to this kid, and then this kid wants some of my peanuts.
He's the teacher. He's the teacher that you had in school where if you could get him off track of the lesson. He's that teacher. Bro, the amount of times, like, because we all have, like, a curriculum we're following, and we have, like, a weekly schedule.
That I have made the schedule pretty much on, like, what our plan is.
So
I'll go
Monday's
into class
Tuesday,
having
Wednesday.
to do, like, a big notes presentation on nutrition. And I'm like, all right, guys, we got some notes today. And then the kid's like, no, we don't want to do notes. The kid starts talking to me, and then, like, 20 minutes go by. We're, like, halfway through class talking about something. I'm like, all right, you guys, let's do something else. Like, let's do this assignment instead.
The amount of times he comes down, and I'm like, how'd it go? He's like, I didn't do it. I'm like, what? He's like, I'll do it tomorrow. Which you can, he gets to everything, obviously. His class isn't, like, dumber than my class. You know what I'm saying?
I just get, like, we have, like, different work days that we have built into the schedule. So I'll just, like, take out a work day and push off the notes.
See, I'm the one where, like, I set it up so my Fridays are easy. So I go, like, But like the kids in my class, like for example,
They know it.
For example, this is talking about like me and the kids don't like me. I'm fine with it. I have kids that like me, but like for example, this last week we had like 3 or 4 assignments. Bro, I went back to back to back to back, and they all were due by the next class
Yeah,
period.
I had multiple
And I
kids
was
in his
putting the
class come up
grades
to
in.
me like this second week of class. They're like, Mr. J's class is so hard.
Bro,
Just so
back to
so he
back.
can give like a full work day on Friday, so we didn't have to like, do much.
Dude, because Fridays, so I do that and I put the grades in right away. And so if they don't turn it in from that class period, by the way, I give them, the assignments that they have,
They're very bare minimum, very easy.
the
They're just
easiest
lazy.
thing. It still makes them reflect and it meets our standards that we have for the class and for health education. So like everything's by the books in the curriculum, but literally it's so easy. And so they're like, I give them work time in the class period.
They'll get like 20, 30 minutes to do like 10 questions.
Yeah. Like
Not all the time, but like it takes difficult.
for this week.
Yeah.
This week was the pre-unit. So it's just like
very
ramping
basic
things
health
up.
stuff.
So I get them and I go. And so anyways, if they don't turn it into me and I'm on top of my grading, I put it in as missing, which is a 0. Which right now at the start of the year, if you have a 0, you're an F,
Because
essentially.
there's only like 2 or 3 things in
And
the
they're
grade
all
book.
formative.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like kids are like, oh, you do this, I'll do this. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And he's like, you're gonna grade it? Bro, slow down on the grading.
I'll put the due date like in Google Classroom. Like, all right, guys, like make sure you have it turned in by Wednesday at the end of school or something. But I won't really grade it till Friday. So like, but they don't like. So they'll turn it in.
I grade it right away.
So like, they'll turn it in the next day. Like, hey, miss, is it okay if I turn this in? Like, can you please fix my grade? I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. I got you. But it's like, I wasn't even starting to grade it yet. like you had plenty of time. Little did you know.
But I always accept late work. Like I was, so they're
100% or
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, like pretty much all the way up until the final.
Our goal, we don't want our class to be hard. Like the goal is not for it to be a difficult class. We want everybody to be able to turn in all the assignments and learn a lot about their own personal fitness.
Health education, what our role is, like, and I explain this to the students, is like we're here to inform you and educate you on health. If it's your body, if it's friendships, if it's mental health, if it's substance use, different things. We are going to give you all the education, all the information. Then you alone, you're the one that makes the decisions. We can't control students from maybe abstaining from, intercourse before marriage, or maybe if it's
Like vaping.
not using vaping and stuff
I'd
like that.
say like close to half of high school students are vaping nowadays.
Yeah.
They just kind of going off topic, but they just put vape detectors in our bathrooms. They put them in like the bathrooms right next to the gym, which is like a prime spot for all the kids that want to go smoke.
Because those are away from like everything.
Yeah,
It's just by
it's
the gym.
like just far away being at the gym, and they put it in like 2 weeks ago. They probably caught like 50 kids.
Yeah.
And it's like
I
crazy.
mean, one day it said
They-
22, right?
They literally had to tell the kids about the vape detectors so they would know about them. Like, hey, stop doing this because we've gotten way too many kids like in trouble, and it's a big issue for you, and them probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah, and then it's just rampant throughout the whole thing. So it's like, so we're at a spot where our goal is to educate them, and then they take it and like they do whatever they want with that information. So I forgot how I was talking about that specifically, but that's the goal of health education in that class. I was talking about how he's a great teacher, and I wish I was with him because he's so funny and quick-witted. Yeah, he's funny and quick-witted, and like I'm like, man, dude, I wish I was in a class with him. Kind of, and I think one time last semester he would come up and like join my class, and like he's funny, but he's definitely the teacher that you can get like off topic, where I'm like, we're getting all this done, so then at the end of the week, Friday, it's a work day, and like I was saying,
I give an option a lot.
yeah,
I give an option.
But I'm also the one that says, you guys want to go down to the gym? And he's like, we can't do that all the time.
Like our plan has a strict day. Like we're doing our notes today, and I'll be like, you guys want to do notes today or tomorrow? Like, or do you want to do the assignment today or tomorrow? Yeah. And like, so like we'll still get it done, but like I might flip flop some days or something.
Yeah, but then I do accept late assignments pretty much all the way up until like the final. And yeah, so it's more for I don't want a bunch of work later. I want to take it little increments and take it and just clean it through so I'm caught up on everything. Where I think other teachers and like maybe yourself, he has like a larger caseload that he just takes care of later. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like when the grades are coming in, I'm like, let me grade it right now instead of waiting at the end of the week and grading a bunch at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just pick out certain times in my
Makes sense.
schedule where like I need to grade today. It's like there's no other option. I need to get this done today.
Yeah. But dude, it's awesome. Like I thoroughly
It's a good time.
enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Like I said, I feel like it's pretty rare to have like even with our other coworker, just 3 younger-ish teachers. But it's a fun time working together. It makes work a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so with that, we have like a bunch of other fun stories. At the start of this semester too, I was really because last semester it was like, am I going to be here this year? But it worked out and
I actually got to interview him.
yeah, he did. Didn't ask you a question though, but
No, I was.
Wait, are you serious?
The principal asked me to be a part of the interview committee.
I was sorry, real quick. I was on a contract for the first time I was there, so I was a semester and like some weeks. Then coming into the new year, I don't have the opportunity to re-sign a contract because I was on a letter. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was on a letter, so that's like I'm coming in and doing
only
the
for
job
like
for
a
this.
year, or only a semester.
Where the contract is like, so at the end of this year we'll get offered another contract to sign, and that should. Pay
So like we
raise and
already
stuff
knew
like
each
that.
other for a semester, and my principal asked if I wanted to be part of the interview committee for like picking the new PE teacher, and I'm like, because I was department head, I'm like, yeah, definitely. So we interviewed like 5 people, whatever, and we wouldn't say much. Kind of the principal kind of ran most of it, and then he would just ask for my input afterwards. So I'd tell him, and I would always like try to pick out like something of each person that I just like. Because I needed cons for everybody. Because I knew when I got to Braedon, like I gotta have like something, but like I'll just kind of like talk up Braedon so I could. At the end of the day, like the principal wanted this older guy who had like not wanted him, but like said that like that was another good candidate. But I'm like, at the end of it, he's like, oh, I'll let you pick. Like I'm gonna tell you everything that I feel, and then you're gonna get to decide. And I'm like, okay, Braedon. I was like, I could have told you this before the interview, but
That's when I got a call when I was in Florida, like in the middle of a run, and they're like,
Nice little
"We'd love to
serotonin
offer you."
boost.
Yeah, it was awesome. But at the start of this last year, when I got the contract and everything, I wanted to make it like a thing of like I wanted to meet all my coworkers.
Yeah.
So we took a day or two and walked around the entire school, and we went to every single open classroom and office.
Because we don't see anybody.
Yeah, I was
like,
about to
because
say,
other than
you see
health,
no
like, we
one.
go up into this certain hallway for health for like 2, like sometimes 3 times a day. But
You
it's
only
like,
see 3 or 4
yeah, we only
teachers.
see like the couple teachers that are right around us. But the rest of the day, we're in the gym, which is like away from the whole school. So half the teachers don't even see us. So that's why, like, Braedon worked there for a whole semester, and he might see someone someday, and they might not know who he is just because we don't see people. I don't know.
So we took the opportunity to go around to every single classroom that was open to say stuff, and sometimes Ennis was like, "Hey, yo, do we need to go?" I'm like, "Yes, bro, let's go."
Because like I've
then
already
he
been
would
there
take
for,
it
like,
over.
I'd be there for like a year or two, so like I kind of know them, but I don't really have like any type of relationship.
Yeah.
And he's like introducing himself, and then like I have to introduce myself, but I already technically knew them, so like some of them were kind of weird.
Yeah. But he would hijack conversation. I'd be like, "Hey, I'm coming in," and he's like, "I don't know, man. I don't know if we should." I'm like, "Let's do it." I come in and say hi, and then he starts talking over me, and I'm like, "I'm here to introduce myself. You guys are catching up. Like, what's going on?"
I don't know about that, but maybe.
No, we have a bunch of like we even went into like our stagecraft area, and like so like we're young. A lot of teachers are older than us, so like they almost see us as like kids. So we walk in the stagecraft area, and this is kind of like the vibe I had. They're 2 older ladies that run like the production
Like
theater and stuff like that. And I come in, I'm like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And they're like, "Hi, what's up?" And I feel like they're almost talking to us like we're like also kids. I'm like,
like,
"Your
"Come check
stage
out
is
everything."
great." Yeah. And they show us around. I'm like, "Oh, look at the staircase." And like, "You want to go up it? Go up it for sure." And so I went up it. It was tall.
Yeah, I was honestly a little spooked. I didn't go up.
You didn't go. He didn't go
Not
up.
like,
It was tall.
Yeah. But just, all of a sudden, it's like the thing for the stage that like they have to go up there and like fix all the lights all the way up there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he went like all the way up
It's a
there.
spiral staircase.
And it was like very small, and he was just it was like a PD day. Like we're supposed to be like getting work done and stuff. And we're just like walking around.
Yeah, saying hi to everyone. So we have a lot of funny stories, a lot of great times. But I guess I think you can potentially think of some
we've kind of been like rambling about just random school stuff.
I have a specific question. So we talked about like kind of like the importance of like you want to get into school and teaching. Yeah. We talked about why you want to be a teacher. What are some takeaways of like maybe how to build a connection? Because you kind of addressed it in talking with like essentially the younger generation to a spot where like you're like trying to mentor them or like provide them a better way of success. Like what is it like to like invest in like the youth of like our generation, our country?
That is deep. I mean, I feel like every kid's different, at least with kids. I mean, even adults, everybody's different. But I feel like a lot of times teachers, they kind of just teach the whole class, like as a whole. Where I feel like when you first start to like meet new kids or have a new class, where if you like find something that each kid likes or like you want to talk to them about like what's going on in their personal life, so you can actually make that connection that's like not just school. So that way they feel like you're more invested in their ability to learn something new, or just if they have something wrong, they can come and see you if something's wrong. Like, it's not always fun, but like some of my athletes, since they're so close to me, if they get dumped by their girlfriend, they might come and ask if they can hang out with me and talk through their issues. Like, not necessarily do I always want to help them out with something like that, but like they feel like they can talk to me about stuff that's not like school related, which makes me feel good, and it gives them someone to talk to. Because I know like at least our students, a lot of kids at our school might not have that family member or that good family life that can help them at home. So it's kind of cool. You can help them out in other ways as they grow older.
Yeah. I think what's crazy is that you're working with athletes, and I feel like with athletes come pride, come egos, come all this stuff that maybe they think that they're greatest, or maybe they think that everyone should just be below them and stuff like that. How do you take someone like that and make them a team player?
Yeah, that's definitely tough, especially I feel like it's gotten like harder and harder throughout the years just with kids, which is with social media. Every time they make a play, it's I did it, I'm him, or whatever they like to say, just acting like I'm 40. But I don't know, it's tough. I feel like me being a young teacher, and they see me as a young teacher, like with my athletes, they can see where I'm coming from, like from a teacher's perspective, because I'll be more open about it. I'm like, hey, like in order for this PE class to run smoothly, I can't just let you guys beat up on all the other kids because you're so much better at them, like at this specific sport. So we're either have a competitive and a non-competitive game, or we're gonna mix up all the teams so everybody gets involved. And it's not, this class isn't just about you, right? You're not just an athlete, you're a student athlete. So we're at school all day first, and obviously it's more important.
Oh wow.
So,
yeah. What are some tips, and this might make you think a little bit, what are some tips like from the profession of being like a teacher and working like in the environment and with the people you do, that you think can be applicable to like normal people that don't have a profession of being a teacher? Do you need some time to think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like being a teacher, like sometimes it can be kind of tough, especially nowadays with some kids. But I feel like it's a lot more rewarding than like if you're, like I would choose my job over making like a little bit more money working like an office job or a desk job, because I know like if I go over the top to put in the work, like for my lesson or like for this practice or this workout, I'll be able to see how these kids like gained something from it, or I'll be able to make that better connection with them. So it's just kind of cool to see, like it's pretty much seeing your work pay off. Right? Yeah. Like, especially, we just had one of our football guys just get his first Division I offer. So, like, and
you had him since freshman year.
Yeah, and he's been someone who's been one of my guys that I've been working out since he was a freshman. So that's something like, and he doesn't have a great personal or family life. So it's kind of like, not saying I did this for him. He put in all the work, whatever, but I was able to help him kind of be able to leave his hometown now and get a full ride, his college paid for, and go play football. Like I helped him kind of achieve his dream. So like, although like I'm not able to like do that anymore, it's cool that you can see like the work that you put in will help these kids like change their lives.
Yeah, and I think a lot of teachers, their goal is like to have an impact on people, and like want to kind of be a part of like changing, like, you know, what life may be, or like instill in them like important values and morals, and like try to grow them. And like that's one thing that's great about Phi-Ed and health. It's like, yeah, we just play sports, stuff like that, but like physical education. This is my little rant of don't call it gym.
It's a lot more than people think. Like
physical education, the goal is to set them up that they can then be physically literate, educated about how to perform activities so that they have lifelong health and like longevity and movement and basic understanding. Like we do a pickleball unit. What? Why pickleball? That's like, but do you understand like how many people at elderly age are playing pickleball right now?
My dad's big into pickleball now. You know, he's in his 50s. That's why I'm like, you could play at any age.
Yeah, and the simple thing with that is like, yes, if you look at very simple, they now know the rules to how to play pickleball. And so you don't have to explain it as they get older. But the thing is like we also instill like the importance of value of being a lifelong, like physically active and focus on your fitness while also moving. And then health education is like make smart and wise decisions and choices. We have to fill out whole like curriculum program standard things by the Wisconsin administrative staff and everything. We have to send all of like our standards and like what our goals and like what did I forget all like the specific words of like basically actionable phrases that like are goals and their curriculum
learning outcomes.
With. Yes, learning outcomes. I'm forgetting it, but like there's a lot of like actual like methods and like procedures and like protocols and like thought that's put into like a lot of the stuff we do. At the very surface, dude, we get get paid to like play. You know what I mean?
We get paid to play sports with the students and teach them how to be fit. You know, and from the outside, like when I first started becoming a teacher, my mom actually always told me this is where I learned it from. I'm becoming a PE teacher. I'm not becoming a gym teacher. Yeah. Gym is where I teach, but I'm teaching physical education. So you're giving them those tools, like you said, to be fit for their whole life. But there are also like so many other things that kids learn in PE class that's not physical, like all their social skills and how they can make a team, how they can talk to someone that they don't know, and figure out a strategy. And there's a lot more that goes into it. So from the outside, you know, we'll get disrespected when people think of it as like glorified recess. You know, it's not just roll out the equipment and go have fun. Yeah. So
yeah, we do hear that. But I think for a teacher, it's always like a goal is to have like someone that goes out and like becomes great. And great doesn't mean millions of dollars a year. Great doesn't mean you're now in movies, you're playing professional athletes stuff, but great is like maybe having like a family that like loves each other, having a home, having a career that you're very proud of, and like have them come back and like be like, hey, like you were my favorite teacher, like you left an impact. And like that's like I think goal we all have, because we can all think back to like a favorite teacher of ours, hopefully. Especially like you enjoyed school, even if you didn't enjoy school. We have so many kids that don't want to be at school, but they always have the one teacher they always go to and talk and like bother. And I think I'm making way with one of them, the football guy that I would play one-on-one with. Like I always tell him to stop into like my room, and he does random times, and he's all the kids are like, he's not supposed to be in here, get him out. I'm like, hey man, not today, sorry. Yeah. But like he made me like a little clay thing, and he's like, did you take it home? Did you take it home? And I'm like, it's at my desk. Like, it's on my desk in the office. He's like, oh, gotcha. I'm like, but I'll take it home like at the end of the year. I want it on my desk though. And like he has like a whole bookcase shelf thing full of like a bunch of stuff. Now it's from the same person, and she's a little specific, but he has like a bunch of notes and everything. Like it's like I think that's where like there's the fulfillment on like especially those hard days.
Yeah, like when you go through a couple weeks of just kids not listening to you, or something,
disrespecting you,
just like not caring what you're doing, and it sometimes it's tough. Like why don't you guys like Like, I don't care. I don't need to have that best friend relationship with a student. But it's like, why do you guys not like us? Like, were you disrespecting us? Like, we're trying to help you out, you know? And so it can be tough. But when you get that, like, one, even if it's just like a little picture that a kid drew you, and it kind of like gives you that appreciation. Like, oh, this is why I'm doing it, you know?
Right now, he has this young guy who's like, he's a freshman, and he's like on varsity, 2 different sports on varsity as a freshman. Spectacular kid. And he's like these students make my heart warm. And I'm not even like, no.
I try not to say, like, but he's one of my favorite students now.
Oh, it's obvious.
I've been teaching for like 3 years.
It's obvious, bro. No, I'm joking.
And well, it's like I student taught in the area where we teach now. So I student taught this kid for a little bit when he was in like 6th grade. Oh, really? And now he's a freshman at our school. So it's kind of cool, and he was on the football team, whatever. Now he's on the varsity basketball team, so I work with him, like, just workouts and practice and stuff. I've actually never had him as a student, and he comes and talks to me about a lot of different things, but I never thought too much of it until we had parent-teacher conferences, and his mom came over to talk to me, and I don't even have him as a student, so she didn't need to. And she came over, introduced herself, like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, my son talks about you, like, every day. He says you're his favorite coach. You're the only one he wants to listen to and hang out with. And, like, for me, he's never, like, showed that too much. But ever since then, like, I feel, like, such a strong connection with him, you know.
Kids often, the kids that we work with, they often don't, they're tough.
They want to be cool.
The guy, pride's a thing. Yeah, but, like, they want love. They want affirmation. They want people to lift them up as tough as they may want to seem. So, like, for example, like, for him, I know that you guys have created, like, a connection of where, like, he values you. That, like, in my class, because I have him last period, I go up and tell him, because it's true, I go, hey, by the way, you know, Mr. Ennis talks highly about you. And, like, you know, he's always smiling, but he's like, and I'm like, I hope that, like, really hits deeper. Because, so these students that, like, warm my heart, he's like, you know, he's the popular, good-looking athlete, 2 varsity star athlete. Only a freshman plays. And, like, he, like, in my class, if, like, there's his friends, he's like, hey, Mr. J's talking. Like, he does that, and, like, he's really up on all his grades, and, like, he cares about people. And it's like, those people, I'm like, man, those students are going to get far in life. And that just makes you be like, man, there's, like, good kids out there. I wrote his, like, grade thing, grade checking, because he's his football, and A+.
Did you write?
Dude, I said, great person.
Nice.
Because he is a great person.
I'm the one who looks at those. I didn't even notice.
You did? No. Well, I said great person in comments. But the thing is, he looks at the comments.
Yeah.
And, like, I really want that to be like, hey, what you're doing right now is great.
It's more than that.
I think that's, like, the deeper level that we both share.
Especially because I know, like, I mean, we're not using his name. He doesn't have, like, a father figure at home. So I know, like, you know, he doesn't necessarily have someone to talk about certain things like that. So it's just kind of cool to help him in, like, different ways, you know?
Yeah. Don't tell any of the students that you're on a podcast with me.
I'm not.
They kind of like to stalk him, but hopefully you know what's going on.
Well, it's like, it's social media nowadays. They just go on Google and Google your name. They just, like, find out your first, because half of our, like,
dude, Infinite
our
Campus,
grade book
bro.
and everything, it has our first name and our middle name, so all our kids, like, see our.
They come up and say, "Is it Brandon?" And I'm like, "It's Mr. J." And
yeah,
they come up. Barrett, hey Barrett. And it's like, don't call me.
We get it all the time, and it's like, we're already young enough, so we really got to keep at least the name separate, so they look at us as that teacher figure still. Yeah. But yeah, they'll just Google us, like.
Yeah, you don't allow them to call you by your guys' first names?
No, there are some teachers that do.
That's crazy.
But I feel like it's easier with girl teachers. Like, more, I feel like a couple women teachers go by their first name.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're like, Google us, and then anything that comes up on Google, so, like, all your social media pages, like, some kid was showing me highlights off my high school football film, because it's on Google. Like, I'm like, how did you find that?
What's the sign thing that they did to you? The signature?
Oh, yeah, there's, like, this trend going around, I think it was on TikTok or something, where they come up and they ask you for your signature. Like, oh,
On a
Mr.
piece of
Ennis, Mr.
paper.
Ennis, can I have your signature? And I'm thinking it's just like a white piece of paper. But then you open it and it's like a picture of you off your Facebook from like 15 years ago. And I was like 12 years old with like a snapback on, like taking a selfie with my dad or something. And it's like I'm in the middle of class. Like, yo, Mr. Ernest, let me get your signature. And I'm thinking like I'm all cool. Like, yeah, I got you. I'm like, really? You know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. They mess with us back. So
I had a couple of students that I'd hear that like they looked me up on Instagram and stuff for a face, and my reaction is much different because I'm trying to nip that in the butt. I go, that's weird. Don't do that. That's weird. Stop. And they're like, no. I'm like, no, that's weird. Don't
like,
look at it. That's weird.
You can put private. I was about to say you can put like most of your stuff.
He tells
on
me
private.
to go private. I'm not gonna go private.
I'm private because at least like so I have like a ton of follow requests, but like I can just never accept them. Right?
No, I actually had a student follow me on Instagram. I blocked him right away.
You blocked them.
Yeah, it's not even a student I'm close with too. It's just a
yeah,
random
but
person.
it's always that because there's just kids just randomly looking you up and like. I try to like my Instagram's like not my actual like first name or last name, so it'll take them a little bit to at least find it, you know. But they'll still like my Facebook's not private. I don't have anything on Facebook except for like family pictures and like old stuff when I was younger. So they just like find the weirdest pictures. You know?
Oh man, dude, I don't know if I could do that.
I know, like it makes me like every once in a while when someone's like, oh, I saw this picture. I'm like, okay, if they saw that picture, that means they saw this post. That means that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it like kind of makes you remember like even if you're not private or if you are, like you gotta be careful with how you're presenting yourself to the world because not only are your bosses and friends seeing it, but like your kids are seeing it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think.
You guys are superheroes, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think we're gonna end this with a little fun thing.
Wait, I have a question.
Okay, perfect.
Actually, this could go for both of you guys because you guys are both young. I'm not actually sure how old you are. I'm assuming very young.
I'm still 24. I turned 25 in a couple months.
You're younger than him? Yeah. No way.
Which, by the way, he tells students how old he is.
Dude,
you're
an old head, dude.
I know. But I act younger.
All my what year were you guys born?
99.
98. You?
02.
02?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, all my friends were born in 99, but I was born in 2000. So I don't turn 25 till like July.
Yeah. His birthday is days after mine. Yeah. When's your birthday again? 18th, yeah.
But the kids always ask, because they know we're young, so they'll always ask me how old I am.
I never tell them.
But I mess with them for a while. They'll be like, yo, Mr. Ernest, how old are you? I'll be like 42. And I'll keep it going for like a good week or two. And they're like, there's no way he's 42. They're like, what year were you born? And I'll just and they're not going to do math. I'm not going to do math either. So they're, what year were you born? I'm like 74. And I'll come quick with it, you know, it's easy. And they won't know. They're like, oh wow, he's not lying. And then but most of the time, obviously, I look young, so I'll tell them I'm only 24.
I don't tell my age, but a funny thing, real quick, that happened recently. So we're phy ed and health teachers. Okay, we're not dumb. We can do math and stuff like that. But we were measuring something, and someone goes, "All right." They go, "This minus this. What is that?" And they look at us, and we're like,
we thought about it, and then we looked at each other, and we're like, nah.
And
calculator.
And then she gave the answer, and I'm like, yeah, we're phy ed and health teachers.
Physical fitness.
We could have definitely got the answer, but we were just like.
If people already think we're not doing it, we might as well not do it.
Yeah, it was funny. But I'm sorry, what was your question?
So you guys are both really young now. I definitely are really young. So what is it like being able? Because you guys graduated college and go immediately to this place, almost like reverse, right? You go to high school, and now you're in these buildings where it's like, oh my goodness, I remember that stuff. What is it like stepping into a high school again for the second time? And it's brand new to you.
Yeah. I feel like the biggest thing I noticed was how much, just within the little, maybe 8 years that I was out of college or out of high school, the kids are so much different. And, I feel like the kids think they can get away with, anything nowadays. They're a lot lazier. Every single student is on their phone.
All the time. Bro, high school, when we went, versus them.
It's like
completely different.
Like I feel like, you know, iPhones started coming out when we were in like middle school, high school. Like most kids like had a phone in class, but like when the teacher was talking or like you had to do something, it was just like a known thing. You put it away, and it wasn't like an issue or anything. Whereas like now, like we'll have a kid that will just like literally just like put his headphones in and like go on his phone for the entire class, and he's like will completely ignore you and like won't even say anything. Like, hey, like we should be working on this. Come over again, like, hey, like I don't want to take your referral. Yeah, I'm gonna have to write your referral, give you a 0, and they're like, give me a 0, I don't care. So like, if we use like PE for an example, if I was in high school and I was being lazy, I didn't want to participate. I'd sit down and the teacher would be like, hey, you're gonna get a 0 if you don't get up, and I'm like, so many things go through my head. Oh, my mom's gonna get mad at me. My grade's gonna drop. I gotta get up. I gotta go do this. Whereas our students, when we say, hey, you're gonna get a 0 for the day, and they're like, all right, that's fine. Like, they don't care.
I think we also had to factor in, like, just the culture and the demographic that we also work with, too, and the home life and everything. But it is, what you're saying, it is completely different.
Just, like, you'd think, like, kids were not that, like, far apart. But it's kind of weird how different they actually are. Yeah. It makes you think about it more.
For mine, it's like a simulation. Meaning that you look at them, and you're like, wow, that was when I was there. I'm like, that was like the end of my world. But now I'm like, that's nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and breakups like or like stuff. Like the random like assignments or like things where you're like, oh, this is the end of the world. Like, what 2 pages of 5 paragraphs each. And I said, I can't do that. Like, and you're just like, literally nothing. And like, you're outside of it. So it's like when we mess with the students, we're almost like toying with them because this is like their entire world, and like we're outside like watching it and be like, because we did that.
That's a good way to say it.
It's really not that big of a deal. Like one kid, I had one of like a student that we know. It's a girl at basketball team we were just talking about earlier today. I had actually a great conversation about her with her about like, don't be easily irritated. Don't, because she gets in fights. And she just came back from another school because she was in a huge fight. And I was talking about like, you realize if you give people reaction, they know they control you. I'm like, you don't want to be controlled. And I talked about the Bible, how like you don't want to be a city without walls, because that means that people can easily penetrate, bother you, mess up your city, and then leave, come and go, and then you get the reaction. You want to like have your walls up. You want to be protected. You don't have a pride thing. And he had a great connection. But to answer your question specifically, it's like you're like watching like a TV of like what used to be you were in the TV. And like, so it's like comical, like the little things that they do.
You telling one kid this that you heard from a different kid, you can mess up the entire like week for all these kids. Because being like the cool young teachers, they'll tell us everything too. Yeah. Like I was like, so if we really wanted to, we could really mess up some situations. We're like, oh, remember what she told us?
You remember?
And then we'll see something like, oh, he's
hanging
out with her.
There's a guy.
Like we don't really care, obviously, you know, but like we can just like notice things.
There's this popular guy in my class last semester, and in my class he's all over like this girl, like holding hands, doing things, sharing headphones, like being next to her.
So you'd think that he was dating this girl, right?
Come back, I go, hey, I think these people are together. And he goes, no, he is like a whole girlfriend.
He's dating somebody else. So like we're seeing these things, and now that kid was on the football team, so I was like, okay, now let's go talk about some respect about not dating multiple women. You know, like,
so there's a lot of aspects, but I think that's like the difference that I saw, that you're like kind of outside of that world.
Students just have so much issues with their pride nowadays, at least with our school.
So couple quick questions. I'm gonna start off. They're random, they're quick, they're fun. It's like this or that if you want to start thinking about some. Okay, first of all, would you rather be in the health class or phy-ed class in the gym?
Depends on the day, but most of the time I would pick gym.
Okay, would you rather be teaching alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, or physical fitness and nutrition?
Fitness and nutrition.
Okay. Volleyball unit or badminton unit?
Badminton, because the poles to set up badminton are a lot lighter than volleyball.
Yeah, it's true.
They're pretty heavy, so it takes us well.
Big ball volleyball was fun though. I'll ask like one or two more. Then you have some. You think?
I don't have this or that, but I have fun other ones.
Yeah, you can do fun other ones. Work during the summer or have the summer off?
I want to say have the summer off, but I've never had my summer off as a teacher.
Yeah, he works every summer. Yeah.
It's like 5 hours a day, and it's like really good money, and I have to be there anyway for football. So I
and they're
just
all
like,
good students.
Yeah, like only like good kids. Like it's not like, you know, if you back in the day like you failed a class, you had to go to summer school. It's like kids that are like athletes or they're in AP classes or band, so they can't take gym during the school year.
Yeah.
So they take.
So it's like the reverse. And then one more. I'll do. Never mind. I don't know.
Braedon's shoes on or off?
Tell him.
I was thinking. That was more of a.
That's a good one. I would prefer they're on. During our lunches, like I was kind of mentioning earlier, we have this part of our desk that pulls out, and we kind of use it as like to put our feet up, because there's just two of us in there.
Whenever the door opens, bro, our feet go down to the ground as fast as possible.
Just in case. But, so we'll put our feet up, and a lot of times Braedon will take his shoes off.
Gotta let the dogs breathe.
And I walk in, sometimes he's in there before me, not, I guess this semester not, but I'll walk in, he'll take his shoes off, and I don't think anything of it, and all of a sudden, like, I'll sit down, and I'll just, like, go on my phone for, like, 2 seconds, and I'm like, what is that? And I look around, dude's dogs are out. I'm like, not, like, completely, but, like,
no,
like,
it's, geez. I feel like you only say something if you walk past me.
Probably. Because if I'm just sitting in the, like,
and if
on
you,
the corner
sometimes
of my office,
if you lean towards to show me something, I'm like.
I've done that before. Because, like, our feet, like, we, like, face toward each other. So, like, my legs are up this way, his legs are up this way. And, like, I'll see.
But there's a lot of space in between. Our feet are only touching.
Giving your toe high five. Yeah. No, like, I'll see something on, like, I don't know, Instagram that's funny. And I'll be like, hey, like, look at this. And I'll lean in. I'll forget his feet are. I will, like, forget.
I try to move my feet in time.
Somewhat close. So I'll get a whiff. It's not great.
Do you make a face?
It reeks. Bro.
Probably, yeah.
It reeks.
Like,
I'm going to be honest. It reeks.
I mean, we're running around all day, you know, doing stuff, so.
So now, because you're a football guy,
yeah.
What would be your dream NFL team? And you can't choose your hometown.
Bear down.
That's tough.
Bear
I am
down.
a Bears fan.
Bears stink.
I'm from Illinois. I'm always Chicago sports, big Bears guy. All the kids mess with me about it. I don't know. I don't think that I would want to be like a head coach. I know like a lot of people like say they would always want to be. I want to be a defensive coordinator because I feel like you're more involved with the players and it's more defensive impacted, which is like what I enjoy. But as a team, probably have to see something like warm weather, like Miami, Dolphins. I really like them.
What's your, real quick off of that, what's your, you and your friends have like a goal or like a dream
yes.
or like a bucket list thing?
He was showing me earlier today how he's got a map and he's got like a pin for every country or every place that he's been to in the world. I have something similar, like a bet with my couple best friends. It's like who can ever go to all of the NFL stadiums first. We want to get like something like made that we can like actually start adding things to it.
And then the person that does it first.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is just something like we made this a couple years ago. Whoever gets it first, the other two, there's only 3 of us that are doing this. The other 2 have to buy like Super Bowl tickets because like that's something like we've always wanted to go to like at least one Super Bowl in our lifetime. Like just to kind of see how it is. Doesn't matter if it's on our team.
Yeah.
So like the losers, whoever doesn't get it, would buy combine the money, buy the ticket for that
just
person.
One ticket?
Ideally, it'd be all 3 of us. We're adults. Hopefully, we're grown. We have a lot of money, you know, and we're able to do that. But that's just something that we have.
The 2 people would buy an extra ticket.
But it's going to be quite a long time if that were to happen.
Yeah. I asked him how many he had.
I think I'm in second. I have like 5.
So how many are there?
32.
You have 5?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had less.
There's 32.
Yeah. It's
Holy
32.
Smokes. Who's in the lead?
My buddy who's the diehard Chiefs fan, and it's who's coming over tonight or to my house later and for tomorrow for the Super Bowl. He's diehard Chiefs fan for a long time, so he makes trips around the Midwest to go watch the Chiefs play. So like, and I crossed off Kansas City with him because me and him went to a Kansas City game last year.
Yeah,
we made the trip. My buddy's gone to like Indianapolis, Detroit, like Minnesota. Like he's getting these other places just because the Chiefs are going there. Which, like, I haven't most of mine. Like, I've been to Tampa Bay, like, 3 times. Because
So did you see Tom Brady?
Yeah.
way.
His last year was the first time I was at Tampa Bay. Because my sister actually lives in Tampa. So I go down there every once in a while. But I still got a lot more to go to. I went to Lambeau for the first time last year. It was for the last game of the season, Bears-Packers. I wore a bright orange Bears hat and a bright orange Bears jersey. Almost got in a lot of fights. Not on purpose either. Like, I was like, just want to enjoy the game. It's cold. Make it through. Bears are probably going to lose anyways. Just want to enjoy my time. We sat next to these huge Packer fans, and they're just trying to elbow us out of the way. Like, I mean, it's all real, Bears rivalry. So I'm okay.
Didn't they win the last one?
I think so. Yeah.
Because I know like the other time.
Well, no, the Bears won last year, but the game I went to was the year before.
Oh, okay.
So I think the Packers won that one because they won like.
Yeah, actually, this
that.
was the first time they lost in like a whole streak of games.
Caleb Williams is 1-0 at Lambeau Field, so
Caleb stinks, man.
is the future of the NFL.
Bear down, more like Bears
Clown.
clown. I'm sorry. There's times I leave notes on his like thing, and I left Bear Clown, more like Bear Clown.
He just thought it was
And
the
then
funniest thing ever.
When I was gone for the mission trip for 2 weeks, and every day I wrote down like a little thing that like said a sentence.
It's like writing notes on my calendar. Like, dude's writing me love letters. He's not even here.
You catch an interception, okay? You get a pick six. What's your celebration?
A lot of times.
Let's say you're in the NFL though. So like the camera is
if
on
I'm in
you.
the NFL, I might have to do something a little more. I don't know if you guys would know. Do you know who Chris Johnson is? He's old Titans running back. He had a really cool one. It's kind of like a dance. I'm not going to try to do the dance right now.
I was gonna ask.
Maybe if it's NFL, maybe pull out like a Justin Jefferson gritty or something. One of my favorite like easy ones to do that's like looks good is just spinning the ball on the ground, get it spinning, and then get like a little fireplace with your hands.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that you'd be that kind of guy. I'd do like a shrug thing, or just be like flip it, or just
Yeah,
be
it's
like,
lame. It's lame.
Dude, no,
Take
there's
pictures.
no way, bro. There's no way.
Bro, I would
You're
snag
telling
that
me
thing.
you score a touchdown. This is like
Wait, am I
yours-
doing interception or touchdown?
Interception.
Well, honestly, anything really, but like your top, like, because I probably wouldn't do a
I'd
gritty
run
for
to
like
the
an interception, and that's in the middle of the field.
Middle of the game.
You just see
The
some
score
random-
doesn't even
Just doing the gritty.
it doesn't matter. So you score a touchdown. For myself,
Like
everyone
you score a
runs,
touchdown, you
come
have
up,
millions of people watching you.
and they come up to the camera, and you just go like this.
No, you wouldn't.
That's so lame.
Right, everyone.
I would
I'm not
drop
gonna
you from
dance.
if I had you on my fantasy team and I saw, I'd drop you immediately.
Do you know how tough that is?
I don't.
You know what's easier? But look, you could just do a spike. Like just spike the ball would be cooler.
Nah.
dude.
You just come up. You come like this.
That's
and
like
you
the
toss
Jordan
the-
shrug after you just hit
I
like
know,
but like
that's
that's like
tough.
after you just drop 50 points.
Right.
Maybe like after your third touchdown, maybe
Yeah,
a shrug.
right. Even
Like, I'm just that good.
even in indoor soccer, you celebrate still.
I do
You never
yell.
do that. Let's go.
I
Actually, you did
yell.
do one cold one where you scored that
It's some good-
right before the halftime, and you're just like that was great.
It's Sue. I love for a hat trick for soccer. I like go off the ground and grab a hat. 'Cause hat trick's 3 goals.
Yeah. I know what a hat trick is.
But I do
I'm a
kind of
PE
scream.
teacher. I know I don't play soccer, but I know sports.
Bro, I see him kick a ball. I'm like, bro, you can't take the lead on
Just
soccer
tell me.
unit.
I played literally
I
every
take
single
the lead on. The
I played
soccer
every
unit.
single sport, and I know that I could probably beat maybe not every kid. We have some good athletes, but I could beat majority of an average person at any sport except for soccer. I'm just not good with soccer.
So do you give that more respect or more?
As I grew older and became a PE teacher, I realized that it's a lot more difficult than I always thought growing up.
It's good to
because
see. It's good
my
to
whole
see.
friend group, all football guys, every single one of us was on the football team, except for one of us. There's one guy in our friend group who only played soccer in high school. He played community college soccer for a little bit. He was pretty good, but we always like roasted him for not being on the football team, and we'd say he's a field fairy and all this stuff, whatever. But growing up, I realized that there's a lot more that goes into soccer. So I will admit that I am not athletically inclined to be a good soccer player.
It's all right. It's okay. Some of
Not-
us are
not
not as
good-
good as.
Not good
others,
with my
that's all
feet.
right.
So
That's right. I honestly I think I am the superior athlete when it comes to our fire department.
We will have to maybe start like a dude perfect type thing. Where
I mean, my trick shots have so far been
do something new
good.
every week. See who's better.
I'm actually curious. You guys teach a lot of whatever you guys call it. Topics.
Units.
Units, that's what it is. I'm so sorry.
Sports.
You guys teach a lot of units.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have to 1v1 in every single one. Who's taking the cake?
He's got baseball for sure.
Yeah. Baseball. And football's a different one because people always say like if somebody throws me a ball, I'm not saying we'll drop a ball. Like if I drop it, they're like, oh, he's not good at football. Like
he has some good hands.
Football is so much different though. Like soccer, you can go out in gym class and show these kids.
See,
you could show them how good you are at soccer, but football, there's nothing like putting on pads and tackling and running with the ball. It's different. You can't just play football as you get older.
Yeah.
It's different.
He has a great shot in basketball. He's actually a good shooter. But as we made a joke earlier,
I was about to say I haven't.
Say something.
It's been a while.
I wish I could see it.
Well, I tell him every week, man.
Are we not close to him?
He's
I feel like we're close to him.
We are closer to him. It's not even that far of a drive from him.
Well,
Also,
when you're in Oak Creek, is that what it
no,
is?
in the other place. Also, I tell him. I forgot what I was gonna say. I tell him every Wednesday.
He does.
Does Monday or Wednesday work better for you?
Either day. Well, it's the thing is most of the time I stay till workouts until 5:30. Sometimes I go to our morning workouts too. So sometimes I'm at school from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 7 to 7. And I also work a lot of our athletic games, which is why I have some of those closer relationships sometimes. Because when he goes home after I'll work all the basketball games or all the soccer games, so I'm just walking around as security after school, and the kids will see me around. So a lot of times I'll get paid to hang out at school instead of come and play basketball.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm choosing to, but I do need to come out. It's been a while.
Definitely do it. He's a good shot. Honestly, I think it would be one of those things where on certain days. Oh, yeah. That was funny. There was one time he was we were doing pickleball, and he was like, you know the rules? I'm like, I'd beat you in pickleball.
It was
okay.
First period, we were setting up pickleball. And my class was going in the weight room, so I was making sure he knew what he was doing. I was like, you know the rules of pickleball, right? He's like, didn't even say, I would beat you in pickleball. It's 7 a.m. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Honestly, I think there's
I think it'd be pretty close.
Baseball, he would have 100%. Soccer, I would have. But after that, I think everything else could be
even.
Toss-ups. If out of 10 times, you know what I mean?
If we're doing it all in one day, I might get out of breath a lot quicker.
It might favor someone one day, favor someone the other day. He's really good at throwing a football and stuff, but
that's the thing is
I'm making it in the
football is I didn't grow up playing football throwing the ball, so that's just a skill, you know. It's I'm saying people say they're good at throwing, or the kids in gym class say, oh, I'm so good at football. I'm like, just so you can throw a football and catch it here and there, doesn't mean you're necessarily good at football. Yeah. Because there's in football, there's 11 different positions, a lineman, quarterback, receiver, running back, any defense, you know. So I feel there's a lot more that goes into it.
That's pretty crazy.
Do you guys ever find you work a lot of games? Yeah. Do you guys ever find yourself being fans or catching yourself dude, that catch is dunked on.
Dude, yeah. When I was there was a game 2 weeks ago that I was working that some guy hit a crazy dunk. And I'm never in my life could I imagine myself doing that. He's 16 years old. He's just almost windmilled. Yeah. And crazy dunk and it was that one and then last week when they had the game winner. So they always put me when I do security in front of our super fans because they know I can be cool with them, whatever. So this kid chucks up half court shot at the end of the game to win the game, buzzer beater, down by 2, hit this half court to win the game. And my job is to make sure the students don't storm the court, right? And so they were posting this video on social media oh, congrats to this student because he hit this game winner. And you could see me in the video as soon as he makes it, instead of holding the kids back, my hands go up. I'm like, yeah. And then I turn around and then I'm trying to hold him back. Yeah. But it's you could totally see me just locked into the game. Let's go.
Yeah. It's fun. It's cool. He has a great. He's definitely part of the culture of the school that we're at.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing, because I am there like all the time.
Yeah, he is. He works a lot.
Like I am there like year round for football, and it's not like you get paid a lot to coach in high school. So,
but he makes good money for doing what he does because he's always working. Anyway,
I'm loaded. I'm just kidding.
All right, this gotta be. We had a final question. It can be funny or something silly, and then we'll end it because this has been a great time. What is that final question? Is there any random thing you want to share? Do you want to throw me under the bus with anything, or
I got something. I
use
know
this as opportunity because I've been saying
there's
stuff
so many
you.
that I've planned. I should have thought this out better, but I mean the feet was definitely
That's
a
like
big
a
one.
big one.
Yeah, leaving right after work.
Yep.
Not staying to make any connections.
That's right. Yep, that's another one.
Keep it coming.
Come on. I don't know. I feel like I have so many, but I can't think of any.
You sound like a pretty good coworker. Right? Pretty good at what I do.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, we have if we had someone else, we have a lot of thoughts about our school.
Lately, we've been spending a lot of time just talking about other coworkers that we've been having issues
throughout the
with.
school.
Yeah.
Not anyone like specific or anything like that.
God, I'm mad I can't think of anything
No, it's
right
all right.
now.
It's okay.
I'm gonna text you after this. Say, yo, remember this one?
Yeah, you remember this? I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
God.
No, it's fine. But dude, no, you're an amazing person to work with. You're honestly a big reason why I enjoy being at the school I'm at, if not the main reason.
I appreciate that.
And it's cool to see like the goals that you have are going to come to fruition, and like the impact you have on the students. And like I know like football is a huge thing for you, and I know you're going to achieve that goal. And like you have goals within being in a school and administrative staff, and like we talk about like our own personal like ambitions, and it's like you're someone that is like I'm very, because like getting to this job, you don't always like know like what you're gonna do, but you don't know who you're gonna do it with. Yeah. And I'm very happy and blessed that it's I think honestly is a blessing and like a miracle that I ended up where I'm at now, and the connection that we have and the relationship we have, because like you're like when you don't come into work because you always call off. That could be your thing that I took a bunch of time off.
Like Monday.
It's like you not at school one day is a huge difference. Just like how my mood is and everything like that, for sure. And I think the same. But I was going to say, underhand toss that you can hit is like a big thing you talk about. Me is I take trips.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to?
That was, I mean, when I take my, first of all, thank you. Like going off what you said, like I feel the same way. Just from the time that I was at the school before you were there, I felt like I was going to work every day. And now I just feel like it's a lot more enjoyable being able to have you there. Yeah. But yeah. So when I was waiting for it. Honestly.
And
that's what's up.
Bro, we need to tell that story.
We say that to the kids all the time.
Dude.
They're like, what? I'm like, that's what's up. They're like, this guy's weird.
Yo, I'm not going to do the labs today. I'm tired, or this or that. That's what's up.
But no, so like how he gets mad, I take like a random day off. Like I took like a random Wednesday off just because I wasn't feeling it. Had some stuff to get done at home. I'm like,
sometimes he tells me in the morning, but that one he gave me a heads up.
A lot of times I wake up and like it's got my sub has to be in by like 6:15, and I put it in. I wake up at 6, put it in at 6:10. I'm like, hey, by the way, guys, I'm not coming.
Do they have like subs just on deck?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
No.
Not well, that's like a whole thing.
Yes and no.
They only have so many. When there's days where a lot of teachers call off, then we, instead of like using our preps to get work done or work out or take a nap, we have to go sub for another class.
But we get paid for it.
Yeah.
So I think his Wednesday you take care of. But sometimes your Wednesday, yeah. Sometimes he calls in so early or whatever that then
no
other
sub
staff
picked it up because it was so late. So now like other teachers like have to come down.
But we get paid for it.
Yeah.
So.
But no, so I take like random days off or whatever, and I think that's better because there's just one random day at a time every few months. Whereas when he takes off like 2 full weeks at a time. And I'm like, this is the most boring 2 weeks of school. I'm eating lunch with some 60-year-old sub, and it's just not the same vibe,
Yeah,
Like, I mean, obviously, whether it was a missions trip or where'd you go this year?
A wedding in Colombia.
Yeah, so they're good things. Obviously, I'm not mad that he went, but it's definitely a lot harder when it's like a full week than just one day. You know what I mean?
That's probably my Achilles heel. But I've been good. I've only taken off besides that. We
were on each other for a while. I feel like neither of us took off for the past 3
And now
weeks.
you're doing 2 in less than a week.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Oh, that was
go Super Bowl. Not even go Chiefs or Eagles,
I know.
but
It's a Super Bowl.
Go football in general, I guess.
But that was the podcast, episode 66.
Sick.
BC Procast, episode 66, here with Barrett Innes. A lot of people know him. Hundreds of people actually know you as Mr. Innes. That's kind of crazy to think about.
They don't even
Hundreds
know,
of people
know
you
me by my first name. They know me as
Mr.
Mr.
Innes.
Innes or Coach.
When people go, hey, what's your first name? I go, Mr.
I say that a lot. 42 years old. The name's Mr.
Mr.
Nice to meet you.
So it was a pleasure. Make sure you read your Bible. Make sure you pray. That's very, very important. We didn't talk about it too much today, but that just rhymed. That was kind of crazy. But that is important in life. Try to take the lessons. A lot of funny stories. I definitely cried at the start of this one, but there's a lot more to this profession of being a teacher, and I think it shows a person. I'm not trying to hype myself up because I'm also a teacher, but I think this profession shows the heart of a person that is in that line. And let me tell you, he's a funny guy. He's great. He's awesome. He's an outstanding teacher. If you have a kid in one of his classes, you're definitely in a good spot. In mine, I don't want them to like me. That's the goal. So, but that was BC Procast. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Thanks for having me.